Early Spring Nature Study. Noticing the first signs of spring. Hello friends! It might still feel like winter, but if you look closely, you will notice that nature is already waking up. Here in Ireland, February is actually the first month of spring, and you can see it in small but unmistakably changes. Tiny green shoots pushing up through the soil, birds singing more boldly in the mornings, and the first frog spawn appearing in ponds. I remember the first time we spotted frog spawn in our pond. It was Valentine's Day, which we found very funny. It was as if the frogs had all gathered for a big romantic party. Since then, we've been marking the date every year. And what's interesting is that it keeps getting earlier. This year we found the first frog spawn on January 15th. It's a little reminder of how seasons shift over time, sometimes in ways we don't even notice unless we're paying attention. Wherever you are, the seasons are shifting too. Maybe you're still deep in winter, or maybe you're in the southern hemisphere, moving toward autumn instead of spring. But no matter where you are, this is the perfect time to start noticing the changes. One of my favorite ways to track the seasons is by keeping a calendar of firsts. It's simple. You just jot down the first time you notice seasonal changes each year. The first snowdrop, the first hazel catkins, the first time you hear birdsong early in the morning. Over time it becomes a kind of personal nature almanac, showing patterns you might not have noticed otherwise. The idea of a calendar of firsts comes from Charlotte Mason, who encouraged children and adults to take notice of these little seasonal shifts. She wrote, "It is a capital plan for the children to keep a calendar. The first oak leaf, the first tadpole, the first cowslip, the first catkin, the first ripe blackberries, where seen and when. The next year they will know when and where to look out for their favorites, and will every year be in a condition to add new observations. Think of the zest and interest, the object which such a practice will give to daily walks and little excursions. There is hardly a day when some friend may not be expected to hold a first at home." Charlotte Mason, Volume 1, page 54. For example, with our frog spawn, I never would have realized how much earlier it was appearing if I hadn't been writing it down. And the more you track, the more connected you feel to the rhythm of nature. It's like a conversation with the seasons, where you start to anticipate what's coming next. If this sounds like something you would like to try, here's a little challenge. Go outside every day for a week and make a note of one thing that feels like a sign of the changing season. It could be a flower, a bird, the way the light changes, anything that catches your attention. You can mark these observations in your regular calendar as a note or a little drawing. But if you enjoy keeping a nature journal, you can document these first signs of spring in more detailed ways than just a calendar. Here are a few ideas. Seasonal lists. Keep a bird list, flower list, or weather observations throughout the spring. Each time you spot a new species or a seasonal change, add it to your calendar. Over time, you will build up a picture of what's happening in nature around you. The colors of the year wheel. This idea comes from Claire Walker Leslie, who suggests painting a simple color wheel to track the shifting colors of the seasons. In early spring, you might see a lot of soft greens, yellows, and browns. Later in the year, the palette will change completely. You could make quick sketches and watercolor studies. You don't have to be an artist to add small sketches of leaves, buds, or birds you see. Even a simple pencil sketch or a splash of color can capture the moment. Poetry and reflections. If drawing isn't your thing, try jotting down a short reflection, a poem, or a description of how the day feels. How does the air smell? What sounds do you hear? What changes do you notice? Journaling these moments is a beautiful way to slow down and really see the world around you. And if you do this year after year, you will start to recognize patterns. When the first flowers bloom, when the swallows return, when the days start to feel longer. Nature study really doesn't have to be complicated. It's just about noticing things. You can start a calendar of forests, a nature journal, or simply step outside with fresh eyes. These small moments of attention connect us to the world in a deeper way. So I would love to hear from you. What's the first sign of spring you've noticed this year? Let me know in the comments, and if you're keeping a calendar of forests or a nature journal, I would love to know what you're tracking. Thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to get my bi-weekly newsletter, you can go to thewildcherryfarm.com/newsletter. Talk to you soon again.